Hello guys, welcome to Online Web Tutor presented by Profotech Solutions team. I am Sanjay. We are learning WordPress data and request security. In our second part guys, we will complete that how can we check our user capabilities and protect our plugin from these requests. And also guys, if you are a beginner to this channel, please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching our various types of playlists within Online Web Tutor. And also for the documentation study guys, you can follow this URL right here. Okay. So basically guys, in the first part we have completed about the introduction part, as well as we have seen that how many ways we have to follow to protect our data. And basically we have seen that these are the ways that we have to follow our protecting data. Okay, so we are in this video session guys, we are discussing about the first section about checking user capabilities. So according to WordPress setup guys, if you go to the WordPress setup, just clicking on user section. So as you can see, suppose I am clicking on add new. And now as I scroll down, as you can see that these are the users label actually provided by the WordPress, like administrator, editor, author, contributor and subscriber. Okay, so basically these are the 5 roles provided by WordPress, and this is the custom actually role I have created. Okay, so don't worry at all about that. Basically the WordPress contains about the user roles of 5 types called administrator, editor, author, contributor and subscriber. So according to these roles guys, all the users have their own role and capabilities to do any work. So according to the role, administrator means someone who has access to all the administrator features and functions within a site is called the administrator label. Means the user which contains or which actually follow the administrative features as well as control the whole site. So these type of users called administrator. Okay, so now in case of editor, someone who can publish and manage posts of all users including their own post is called editor. Okay, so in case of author, someone who can publish and manage their own post. In case of contributor, someone who can write and manage their own post but can't publish them. So for subscriber, someone who can only manage their profile. So basically guys, these are the roles WordPress default provides. Okay, so if you go to the WordPress setup, if we create any user to our WordPress setup, we have to assign any one of the user role actually default provided by WordPress. So let's create some of the users to this WordPress setup. So let's say that for editor, just I'm going to copy editor and let's say gmail.com. I'm going to create a user with user role called editor. Okay, first name let's say editor. Okay, last name is blank, website is blank, so password, and the password itself called editor. Confirm use of weak password. Just uncheck that and click on editor section. Just click on add new user. So successfully we have created one new user with editor user role. So again click on add new. Let's click subscriber. Let's say subscriber. Copy that. Let's say subscriber at gmail.com. We are going to create another user with the user role called subscriber. Okay, and this is subscriber. And now last name blank, website should be blank, and let's say so password. The password is subscriber. Check that, uncheck that, and now the URL has the subscriber. Click on add new user. Successfully we have created another user with the subscriber role. Again click on add new. And now finally let's create another user with let's say author user role. So just copy this name, paste it here, and let's say gmail.com. These are the dummy data actually we are filling right now. It should be blank, 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 and let's say so password. Password should be something called author. Confirm use of weak password, and let's say that author. Just click on add new user. So right now guys, for this WordPress setup actually we have 4 different roles. Okay, currently we are logged in from the administrator details of username password called admin, and successfully we have created 3 different users called subscriber with the username called subscriber and password is subscriber, and the user actually contains the user of or role of called subscriber. And also accordance with the user roles, we have created another 2 users called editor and the author. So if we are talking about the capabilities and the role section of WordPress user roles, just go to this website called codex.wordpress.org / called roles _and capabilities. Okay, so just scroll down. And now as you can see that capability versus role table. So basically guys, these are the roles actually the WordPress provides called administrator, editor, author, contributor and the subscriber. Okay, so on the behalf of these administrator roles, on the behalf of these user roles, actually the WordPress provides the functionality according to the user role. Means called activate plugins, this is the capability label. Called create users, edit files, edit plugins, these are the capability actually provided to super admin and also to the administrator label. But in case of editor, author, contributor and subscriber, it is missing from all the above user roles. So just scroll down. And now as we can see that the editor has now involved in some capabilities like moderate comments, manage categories, manage links, edit pages, delete pages. So these are the capabilities actually also provided to the editor user role. Okay, so finally editor comes into the place. So now for the author section, here author comes and contributor also. So for the author section, actually upload files, publish post, edit post, these are the capabilities performed by administrator, editor as well as author. For the contributor, edit post and delete post are basically also done by contributor section. But for the subscriber user role, it has only capability to read. Okay, and also to manage profile. Okay, so just I'm going to log out. Let's go to WordPress setup, click on the logout section, and let's enter some of the credentials that we have created for the subscriber called subscriber. Copy, paste, and just click on login. And as you can see that we are currently logged in by the details of a subscriber. So subscriber have capability of only read as well as the manage profile. As you can see that we have now profile page. So this is called the subscriber user role where no menus appear for this user. So just again logged out. Let's log in with the editor section. Just copy paste, login. So now in the editor section, as we can see that the appearances tab and the plugin section all are missing from this user role. Okay, so according to the editor user role section, we got some of the menus or submenus in our administrator panel. Okay, so just again logged out and click on the author section. Clicking on login, and now author has the same privileges called the editor also. Okay, these are the menus and submenus also appear with the author section. So now here is the question that how can we make the user alone capabilities to protect our data or plugin in the insecure environment. So just back to editor. So this is the plugin that we have developed in the playlist called WordPress basic plugin development, and as I have told you guys that I have uploaded all these codes right here in this GitHub repository called github.com/owthub/wp-next-plugin. You can download all codes from this repository. Okay, so right now we have opened the first or the main file of this plugin called wp-next-plugin. Okay, where we have written some code. So now what we want that we need to show these menus and submenu pages on the behalf of the user roles and the capability. Okay, as you can see that if you go to the WordPress dashboard section, as we can see the plugin menu section does not appearing for this user role because it is protected by the user roles and the capability section. Okay, so again I'm going to log out and just log in with the admin section. And now as we can see that all the available menus and submenus are appearing now. Okay, so we want that our menu, this is the next plugin menu appearing actually behalf that we have installed this plugin to this WordPress setup. Okay, so we want that we need to hide this menu or submenus on the behalf of user role. So how can we control the appearances of this menu and submenu on the behalf of user role? So just back to our editor. First we need to get the user role and capabilities on the behalf of user ID. Okay, means we have to get the current user logged in user role. Okay, so how can we get the user role of logged in user? So just back to editor. Inside this function that is next menus development, this plugin or this function actually called inside this admin menu action hook. Okay, so within inside that let's declare a global variable called global wpdb, or sorry, it's user ID. Basically this is a global variable guys which contains the user role. Okay, currently logged in user ID. So let's say that echo user ID and let's say die. Okay, so if we press Control F5 here, as we can see that we have user ID called 1. This is the admin label. Okay, so successfully we got the user ID from our global variable called user ID. So on the behalf of that user ID, we can retrieve the user role from the WordPress function. Okay, so let's say that we have a function called wp or let's say get user data. We need to pass the user ID right inside this function. Okay, and basically this function gives all the data about this user. Okay, so let's say that user details. Okay, so if we copy this, let's say print r, let's say die. So if we save this code, go to browser, refresh that page. So as we can see that just press Ctrl U to get the source code. And now as we can see that these are the informations related with our user ID called 1. Okay, so now as we can see that this is an object of WP user which contains a key called roles. Okay, inside this role section, as we can see that at the index 0 it has a user role called administrator. Okay, so now if we want to get the value of roles, just back to editor and let's say that role equal to user details, which basically contains a key. Okay, so let's say that roles, just save this file, and now this role variable contains all the roles inside this roles object. Okay, so just copy this and let's say that print r, paste it here, die again, just save this file, refresh that page, and now it contains the administrator label. Okay, so let's say that if the role at index 0 equal to administrator. Okay, so if the user role administrator, then we need to show all these menus. Okay, all these menus, so just paste inside this if block. So now in case of any other role instead of, means apart from this administrator level, these menus will not be appeared. Okay, so if I let make comment of that, so just save this file, if I refresh that page, so now the next plugin menu is appearing. So in case of that, if I log out, just let's say that editor, copy that, paste it here, so now the menu section does not appearing. So this scenario is called the guy's user role and the capability manager. Suppose if we want to show these menus also to the editor user role, so how can we achieve that? So if we just print r and die again, let's refresh that. So this is basically contains the user role called editor. Okay, so we have to give permission to that user also to see all these menu section. Okay, so how can we give the permission to that user? So first of all, let's say that valid roles, it basically contains, or let's make an array, we want to show all these menus to specific user roles. Let's say administrator, the second user role called editor. Okay, so now just comment out again and let's say that role 0, basically role 0, if this value inside this array, then we need to show these menus. Okay, so just get rid of that and let's say that in array, if this value, if this role, what we are getting inside that, if this role inside this array called valid roles, then we need to show these menus. Okay, so just save this file, just go to browser and refresh that page, and now as we can see that our menu section does not appearing. Okay, so we have a point is that we have made the add menu page as well as add submenu page, but it basically contains the capability option, as you have remembered, that is something like that, manage options. This is the capability manager. Okay, so just copy this manage options, go to your chart and let's search for manage options, and basically manage option contained, and basically super admin, the administrator, has the role to manage options. Okay, so we have to remove this manage options right from here. Okay, so what we have to specify, we have to specify the user role. So just get rid of that, paste it here again, go remove manage options, because this is the capability manager for the administrator as well as a super admin. Okay, so just get rid of that. Now we have passed in our menu sections and add menu page for that user role. Okay, so just save this file, refresh our ad dashboard, and now as we can see that next plugin is also appearing for the editor role. Okay, so if we again log out and just let's say for author, just get rid of that and let's say author again, and now the plugin menus does not appearing for this user also. Okay, so if we want to give access to author also, so what we have to do, we have to pass inside this array called author. Okay, so right now we are getting the user role inside this variable. Okay, so let's print our first die again, just save this file, and now as we can see that we are getting the author value. Okay, so the author value we have to pass inside this array. We have to check that this role actually contains inside that or not. But now we have a value called author inside this valid roles. Okay, so successfully just comment out again and save this file, refresh that page, and now as we can see that our menus and submenus of our created plugin is now appearing inside this administrator panel. Okay, so these are the things that how can we actually, so this is the very basic way guys that how can we actually understand about the menus and submenus will appear according to the user role. Okay, so just back to editor, and let's say that we have something called 5 or 6 menus. Okay, so let's say that menu 1. Okay, this is submenu 1. Okay, just make copy of that, paste it here, again paste it here, again paste it here. Okay, so this is called submenu 2, submenu 3, submenu 4. So these are the menus that we have made for this admin menu page. Okay, so just copy this and paste it here, paste it here. So now if we save this file, go to browser, refresh that page. So now just hover that, we can see that these are the submenus we have created for this menu section. Okay, so we want that for the author section, for the user or author, these first 3 actually will appear. The next two options will not be appeared. Okay, for the editor section we want that something 3 and 4 will be available only. So how can we filter out all these submenus and menus according to our user role? So just back to editor. Now we have to change the capability for these user roles. Okay, so for that it just back to the slides, and now for admin section we have to pass manage options. For editor section we have to pass called editor other post. Why we have to pass? So just make copy of that, go to capability table and just search for here and something like that. This is the manage options only available for superadmin and the administrator section. Okay, so for the restriction purpose, if we want to see these lists to our means admin only, so we need to pass the manage options inside right here. Okay, so now in case of editor we have to pass called editor other post. So if we copy that, again search here, so as we can see that editor other post options available for superadmin, admin and the editor. Okay, so basically this is the user role we have to pass capability. This is the capability we have to pass right inside that. Okay, so we want that this menu will appear for the editor other post, means for the editor section. Okay, so just get rid of that, and let's say that these 2 menus and submenu sections will appear for the editor only. Okay, now just copy edit post, search here, and we can see that edit post capability actually available for superadmin, admin, editor as well as author and the contributor. So these user roles actually will see when we pass edit post. Okay, so just back to editor, so just get rid of that, paste edit post again, edit posts, and let's say that edit post. Okay, so on the behalf of capability we have passed several options. Okay, so just talking about that, what will happen when the administrator login? When the administrator login, he will see or she will see all these listings. Why? Because these user role capabilities like edit other post, all these basic capabilities contains the administrator permissions also. So now for the editor section, when the editor login, then editor will see only the editor edit other post as well as all these submenus also. Why? Because edit supposed capabilities contain, as you can see, the editor user role also. Okay, so for the edit post or for the edit other post, the author section does not see these menus. Okay, because edit other post contains, just go to chart, it contains only for the editor user role. Author does not have permission to do that. Okay, so just go to dashboard section and refresh that page. So once we hover, as we can see that submenu 1, 2, 3, 4, all those 4 appearing, but the first 2 part is missing. Why these are missing? Because these capabilities does not contain permissions for this type of user. Okay, so if suppose we are logging to, let's say that for the admin or for the editor section. Okay, so let's say that just make copy, paste, login, and now it contains all these menus. Why? Because editor post, editor user role contains all these capabilities. Okay, so if suppose we want to change something like instead of edit post, let's say manage options. So just change manage options. Basically this contains the user role of administrator only. Editor will not see this menu. Okay, so sub menu 2. So just save this file, go to browser, refresh that page. Once hover, as we can see that sub menu 2 student is missing from this list. Why? Because we have passed manage options, which is basically capability which our administrator can handle only. So these are the ways guys that how can we control the user role and the capabilities of our plugin code. Okay, so now we have this option to get the user role. No, we have multiple ways to get the user role. Okay, what are those ways? If I get comment that, let's say that global current user. Okay, this variable also contains the current user details. So let's say that print r current user, just die here, save your file, go to browser, refresh that page, and as you can see that it contains also the same details of that user, that is editor, which has the ID 19. Okay, so we have the second way to get the user details by using current user. Current user also has the roles. By the help of these roles we can get this role. Okay, so this is the second way. Now we have third way also. What is that? So just again comment out that, and let's say that user data. Okay, so we have a function called wp get current user. So if we print this user data, so let's say that print r and die here. Okay, so if we save this file, go to browser, again refresh that page, and now as we can see that the output actually same. Okay, so we have three ways to get the user role or the user details. First of all, by the way of getting ID and by using the function called get user data, in which we have to pass the user ID. But in the next two ways, that is current user, we don't need to pass any ID because this global variable contains itself the user details. As well as in the second case, that by using the function called wp get current user, by the help of this function we can actually get the user details. So now guys, this is the whole discussion about the user capabilities and roles. So how can we protect our plugin from user roles? By checking the user role, we can filter out our menus and submenus of any plugin. Okay, so this is the first way that we have moved to protect our plugin from unsecure environment. Suppose any user actually logged into our system. So first of all, we have to check the user role and capability of that user. After checking, we can actually filter all the menus and submenus by this video session. Okay guys, so I think I have made much more clear concept about the user roles and the capability manager, and also we have seen that how can we protect our plugin menus and submenus by such type of way. So in this video session guys, if you have any query, just drop your comment. I will give my reply as soon as possible. So for this video session guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day.